Let me ask you something directly. Have you ever felt her pull away before you had any evidence, before you had screenshots, before you had proof, before you even had a name? Have you ever sensed that something changed in her tone, her timing, her energy, but you kept telling yourself you were overthinking? This entire conversation is about that moment. It is about the shift you feel before you can explain it. It is about what happens when a woman's emotional focus starts drifting and you are left trying to decode behavior instead of enjoying connection. I am talking to you not in theory, but in reality. You know the feeling. Something cools down, something tightens in your chest. You begin to notice details you once ignored. You start replaying conversations in your head. You start asking yourself whether you are losing her or whether you are imagining things. Before you accuse, before you confront, before you panic, you need to understand what you are looking at. When you feel the shift before you see proof, the first thing that changes when another man enters her awareness is not dramatic. There is no confession. There is no sudden breakup speech. The first thing that changes is attention. Attention is priority, and priority reveals everything. When a woman is emotionally invested in you, her attention flows towards you naturally. She does not force herself to reply. She does not debate whether to call. She does not measure her energy. But when her attention splits, you feel it before you see it. You notice that she no longer initiates conversations the way she used to. You notice that you are now the one sending good morning texts. You notice that her responses shrink. Where there were paragraphs, now there are one-word replies. This is not about one busy day. Everyone gets overwhelmed. Everyone has responsibilities. You are not analyzing a bad afternoon. You are looking for a pattern. If you consistently feel like you are reaching and she is receiving, something shifted. Attention changes before behavior changes. Most men wait for visible proof. They wait for obvious betrayal. They wait for confirmation. But emotional redirection begins quietly. Her mind may start engaging elsewhere before her actions fully change. She may start thinking about someone else's jokes, someone else's presence, someone else's unpredictability. When that happens, you do not immediately see cheating. You see emotional dilution. Her excitement decreases. Her curiosity fades. She stops asking detailed questions about your day. She no longer builds conversations. She responds, but she does not expand. That drop in engagement is not random. Energy follows interest. If she is fully invested, she leans in. She wants to know more. She probes. She remembers small details. She brings them up later. If her interest divides, she pulls back, not aggressively, not dramatically, subtly. Texting patterns and energy drops. Pay attention to rhythm. When someone values you, communication feels alive. There is back and forth. There is playfulness. There is presence. When someone's interest shifts, rhythm breaks. Messages get shorter. Replies get delayed. Tone becomes flat. You start reading her messages and wondering why they feel cold. You might tell yourself you are overreacting. You might try to compensate by increasing effort. You might double text. You might attempt to revive excitement. Pause. If you are increasing effort while she is decreasing effort, that imbalance tells you more than any argument will. Selective availability and reordered priorities. Another shift appears in availability. She says she's busy. That happens. People are busy. But look at consistency. Is she busy for you but active elsewhere? Does she have energy for outings, social media, friends, new events, but limited time for you? Time reveals hierarchy. When someone excites you, you carve space, you adjust your schedule,
you look forward to connection. If she begins squeezing you into small windows while expanding space for other activities, she is reorganizing priority. That does not automatically mean betrayal. It means reassessment. Emotional investment and effort withdrawal. Watch for small investments, random photos from her day, suggestions for dates, invitations to share experiences, voice notes, inside jokes. Those are emotional deposits. When they disappear, energy is relocating. Attraction behaves like a spotlight. When it shines on you, you feel warmth. When it turns elsewhere, you feel the shadow. Newness creates stimulation. The brain responds strongly to unfamiliar attention. Someone new can feel intense simply because they are different. Intensity can distort evaluation. She may not even be consciously choosing between you and someone else. She may simply be experiencing a shift in stimulation. That does not mean you panic. It means you observe. How to respond without losing yourself. This is where most men fail. They interrogate, they demand reassurance, they accuse without evidence. Interrogation lowers your position. When you fire questions out of anxiety, you reveal fear. Instead of demanding answers, gather information quietly. Watch for consistency over time. Do not chase energy that is pulling away. Redirect that energy inward. Ask yourself a harder question. Have you become stagnant? Have you stopped growing? Have you stopped challenging yourself? Competition does not always come because you are inadequate. Sometimes it exposes comfort. Comfort removes tension. Tension fuels attraction. If you sense drift, focus on sharpening yourself. Improve your physical condition. Expand your ambitions. Deepen your social network. Invest in your purpose. Not to compete directly, but to elevate your baseline. If she is reassessing, your steady growth shifts the evaluation. Stay composed. Composure preserves respect. Increased privacy and defensive energy. Let us continue the conversation. When another man enters her orbit, privacy often increases. She guards her phone more carefully. She becomes vague about certain interactions. She answers questions with less detail. This is not always guilt. Sometimes it's exploration. But you feel defensive energy where there used to be openness. She may react strongly to simple questions. She may accuse you of overthinking when you ask neutral things. When people feel divided, they protect the new space. Criticism and emotional distancing. Comparison energy creates magnification. Habits she once ignored now irritate her. Jokes that once worked now fall flat. Your routines seem predictable. When the brain experiences novelty elsewhere, familiarity can feel dull. You start noticing increased critique. Small flaws become bigger conversations. Simultaneously, emotional warmth decreases. She shares less. She engages less. She keeps conversations surface level. This is reassessment in motion. Future ambiguity and comparison. Listen to how she talks about the future. Are long-term plans still discussed with certainty, or have they become vague? When someone is uncertain, they avoid locking themselves into commitments. Comparison does not mean she prefers someone else. It means she is evaluating. Humans compare. You compare too. The key question is whether you remain strong in your own lane. If you become insecure during comparison, you lower your value. If you remain steady, grounded, evolving, reassessment often resolves in your favor. Independence talk and space requests. Now we address the phrase that unsettles many men is, I need space. I want to focus on myself. I'm trying to figure things out. Context matters. Space paired with reassurance feels stable. Space paired with emotional withdrawal feels like detachment. When she shifts language from us to me, attachment is loosening. This does not require anger. It requires clarity. The psychology behind space. When curiosity emerges elsewhere, attachment tension rises. She cannot fully explore new attention while remaining fully tied to you, so she widens emotional distance. Space reduces accountability. It gives psychological permission to evaluate options. If you respond with panic, you reinforce her perception that she needs more distance. If you respond with